We're going to speak with Michael Strahan a little bit later because Carol just called us from London, and she has to get on a train in 20 minutes, so we can't wait for her to get the let out at the top of the hour. We're going to talk with her right now here on Q1043. Good morning, Carol.
Hey, how you doing?
What do you care how we're doing?
Yeah, we want to know about you.
Yeah, we want to know about you. We want to know about last night. We want to know about...
everything.
So tell us.
Well, how long do you want it?
Just tell us.
This can go on and on and on. No, this was, for a number of reasons, the best concert I've ever seen in my life. Because people from all over the world were there to see these guys, and they were so happy. Their performance was so brilliant, and the camaraderie and the feeling that they had amongst themselves was just magnetic. And the show actually started, as you may have heard, with they were opening acts, which were kind of a conglomerate of different groups, like Keith Emerson, Chris Squire, and Alvin Lee from 10 Years After, Alan White, Simon Kirk, and they all did Fanfare for the Common Man, which was the Aaron Copland piece. And then there were a lot of other people, like Paul Rogers came out from Bad Company, along with Bill Wyman's Rhythm Kings, who were like the backup of a lot of the things that came on during that kind of conglomeration. It was just a wonderful way to set it up because everybody's kind of laid back up until the time when Zeppelin came on. Now, Foreigner, I should mention Foreigner as well. What happened was they ran an old news report. They had a huge video screen, which was the entire size of the stage, and I would say equally as high. And they started off with an old news report, a television news report from Tampa, Florida, about Major Zeppelin concert. And it went right in. They went right into the concert with that. They started with Good Times, Bad Times. The stage was very large. They were wearing very kind of subdued clothes, black shirts, and jeans. Jimmy Page had kind of a long jacket on, and Jason Bonham was the only one without hair. The other ones had plenty. Well, John Paul Jones has short hair, but they were just looking like themselves with kind of a more refined, I guess, subdued image, because they're a little bit older now. They went into Ramble On. They did Black Dog. They did. Then Plant gave everybody a huge good evening, and he was, as usual, the very affable host. He talked in between the songs, but not too much. If you saw them back in the day, they often went on and on and on and on. But the pacing of this show is amazing. The fourth song was In My Time of Dying. Then they did the song that they'd never done live before, which was For Your Life, which was great. They did Trampled Underfoot, and by the way, I've got some great audio and video of this stuff, which I will be posting when we get back. And one of the things that Robert Plant, I really think, tried to do at this juncture was point out the blues influences and the people who might have authored some of their songs, like Robert Johnson. And usually in the early days, they didn't credit them on a lot of the songs that were blues-oriented. But this time he went into great detail on a number of songs where he would point out, this is where we got this. We were in a church in Atlanta, and we heard something that sounded like this, and so we put it together and did that. And it was just very, very nice. It was more musicological, if you will. So let's see, where did I get up to?
You were at Trampled Underfoot and Nobody's Fault But Mine.
Okay, and that was the one that he talked about having heard in a church in Atlanta. Then they went into No Quarter, and Smoke started on stage, which was just a great throwback, along with the very simplified but amazing lasers that they used during this thing. Then he did an intro saying certain songs just have to be played, and went into Dazed and Confused, which was just amazing. Page took out the bow. He did the whole bowing thing. The sound was just massive. I mean, it was great. And it wasn't, if the last time you saw them maybe was 1977, it wasn't that ear-splitting, piercing highs. It was just like a massive wall of sound. After Dazed and Confused, they went right into Stairway. And Page took out the double-neck guitar. He was smiling. Plant really, he did a very, very creditable job on it. Over the years, they've kind of tried to slough it off, but they took it seriously because they realized what a signature song it is for them. He was smiling, and at the end of the song, they went through the whole thing. He said, "Hey, Ahmet, we did it," which was, a nod to Ahmet Ertegun, in whose name the concert was held. Then they went into Song Remains the Same. And the next song after that was Misty Mountain Hop, and Jason Bonham sang harmony along with Robert Plant. And Robert wanted to show everybody how great a voice Jason actually has. So he says, when Jason was a kid, his father used to sing and everything. So Jason just sing a line, and he started the beginning of I Can't Quit You, and he has a great voice. So they went into Misty Mountain Hop. Then they did Kashmir, and Plant was saying, it's just so amazing. People from 50 countries are here, and we thank you so much. And that was the last song, but of course there was whooping and hollering and stampeding for an encore. And then, of course, then they did Whole Lot of Love. They went off, but nobody would let them leave. And they came out and did Rock and Roll as the last song, which was a great choice because get me right back to where I belong. It's been a long time since I rock and rolled. And then at the very end, while they were singing that song, for the only time during the show, on the screen in back of them, they had a montage of old clips of them, in concert. And it would just alternate with the huge screen images of what they were doing at the time. And it was just great. And at the end, the black and white giant logo Led Zeppelin came out on the screen. And as I said, the screen was the size of the stage. Mm-hmm. Huge screen. So now afterwards, I attended there was an after party.
You got to go to the after party?
Oh, she's Carol.
Yeah,
Miller.
but wait, I didn't see them there, but there were a lot of people. They were probably home taking a shower or something like that. But there were a large number of people I went to the pre-dinner also, which was actually courtesy of Comcast, I should say. And they did a very nice job. They had a contest winner that was in line with that. So after and they had an auction as well. I know you're a very good auctioneer. I think they could have used you a little bit. They auctioned off a Foreigner guitar and Ronnie Wood artwork. This was prior to the show. The after party was amazing because Bill Wyman's Rhythm Kings came out, and the party and the dinner were both held in this place called the Club Indigo, which is in the O2 Arena, a very unusual structure, which is kind of like a very large tent with the arena inside and a huge, very modern shopping mall all under the tent. And the Indigo Club was in that what appears to be a large tent area. And so there was a stage there, large bar, and kind of like a B.B. King's, Mm-hmm. And so Bill Wyman's Rhythm Kings came out at the party.
That means Georgie Fame got to be a part of this whole thing because he's one of the Rhythm Kings.
Well, I'll tell you, yes, he was. That was the guy I was looking at, okay? Because I was looking at one guy, I'm saying, he looks very familiar to me. So they came out. Alvin Lee, from 10 Years After, played with them the entire time. And it was an amazing performance. Sam Moore, whom you had on your show.
Right,
from Sam and Dave.
Sam's a friend of our show.
Yes, and I've never seen, that was the best performance I've seen him give. He was so wound up.
And so who else was there for the after party?
Okay, well, they had Percy Sledge. Remember,
When a Man Loves a Woman? That's one of the most perfect records of all time. Okay,
and
go
then,
on.
then the wackiest one of all was Solomon Burke, who was an early 60s soul singer as well. Now, he is so heavy that he has to be wheeled out in a wheelchair. And then he is sat upon a giant throne, from which and he's wearing a kingly outfit, but he has more energy sitting there. It's just, and singing, it's just unbelievable. I was afraid he was going to have a heart attack.
Well, Hamish McBain, the editor of NME Live, in his review, wrote, "What they have done here tonight," speaking of Led Zeppelin, "is prove that they can still perform to the level that originally earned them their legendary reputation. We can only hope this isn't the last we see of them." What do you think? Are we going to see them again?
Well, I would think yes, from the reaction that they got. And if you're going by they're going to see how they feel about it. Now, I heard a couple of people there who seem to be in the know saying, no, they're not going to do it. But it just seems ridiculous to have gone to all this effort. Especially with the video. They were just as incredible as you may remember them. It would seem to me that they would have to do it